The Moon. The fifth largest moon in the solar system, Earth's moon is the only place beyond Earth where humans have set foot. The brightest and largest object in our night sky, the moon makes Earth a more livable planet by moderating our home planet's wobble on its axis, leading to a relatively stable climate. It also causes tides, creating a rhythm that has guided humans for thousands of years. The moon was likely formed after a Mars-sized body collided with Earth. Earth's only natural satellite is simply called the Moon because people didn't know other moons existed until Galileo Galilei discovered 4 moons orbiting Jupiter in 1610. In Latin, the moon is called luna, which is the main adjective for all things moon-related, lunar. Roman name, Luna, Greek name, Selene, role in mythology, goddess of the moon. The moon is the name that's been approved by the International Astronomical Union, IAU, which is the internationally recognized body for naming anything outside of Earth's atmosphere. The moon is called as such because it doesn't need any other name. It's not just any moon, it's the moon. Quick facts. Average distance from Earth, 238,855 miles, 384,400 kilometers, orbit and rotation period, 27.32 Earth days, equatorial radius, 1,079.6 miles, 1,737.5 kilometers, mean radius, mass, 0.0123 of Earth's, a bit more than 1%, gravity, 0.166 of Earth's. If you weigh 100 pounds, 45 kilograms, on Earth, you'd weight 16.6 pounds, 7.5 kilograms, on the moon. Temperature range, minus 414 to 253 degrees Fahrenheit, minus 248 to 123 degrees Celsius. Facts about the moon. 1. The moon is not a planet, but a satellite of the Earth. 2. The surface area of the moon is 14,658,000 square miles or 9.4 billion acres. 3. Only 59% of the moon's surface is visible from Earth. 4. The moon rotates at 10 miles per hour compared to the Earth's rotation of 1,000 miles per hour. 5. From Earth, we always see the same side of the moon, the other side is always hidden. 6. The dark spots we see on the moon that create the image of the man in the moon are actually craters filled with basalt, which is a very dense material. 7. The moon is the only extraterrestrial body that has ever been visited by humans. 8. The first spacecraft to send back pictures from the moon was Luna 3, built by the Soviet Union, in October 1959. 9. The moon has no global magnetic field. 10. The moon has no atmosphere. Due to this, no sound can be heard on the moon and the sky is always black. 11. The gravitational force of the moon causes the rise and fall of ocean tides on Earth. 12. The gravitational force of Earth causes moonquakes. This has led to cracks on its surface. 13. The moon's diameter is about 1/4 the diameter of the Earth. About 49 moons would fit inside the Earth. The moon's interior. The moon is a differentiated world. This means that it is composed of different layers with different compositions. The heaviest materials have sunken down into the moon's center, and the lightest materials have risen to the outermost layer. At the center is the moon's dense, metallic core. The core is largely composed of iron and some nickel. The inner core is a solid mass about 480 kilometers in diameter. Surrounding the solid inner core is a fluid outer core that brings the total diameter of the core to about 660 kilometers. The moon's core is small, about 20% of the moon's diameter, as opposed to other terrestrial worlds, like the Earth, with cores measuring closer to 50% of their diameters. Above the core are the mantle and crust. Differences in compositions between these layers tell a story of the moon being largely, or even completely, composed of a great ocean of magma in its very early history. As the magma ocean began to cool, crystals began to form within the magma. crystals of denser mantle minerals sank down to the bottom of the ocean. Lighter minerals crystallized and floated to the surface to form the moon's crust. The mantle, with a thickness of roughly 1,350 kilometers, is far more extensive than the crust, which has an average thickness of about 50 kilometers. Interestingly, the crust of the moon seems to be thinner on the side of the moon facing the Earth, and thicker on the side facing away. Researchers are still working to determine why this might be. Seismometers left on the surface of the moon by the Apollo astronauts have revealed that the moon does experience moonquakes. Deep moonquakes, occurring broadly around 700 kilometers beneath the lunar surface, are tidal events, caused by the pull of Earth's gravity tugging and stretching the internal structures of the moon. Moonquakes originating on or near the surface can be caused by meteoroid impacts with the moon. Another type of extremely shallow moonquake can come from thermal expansion and contraction of rock on or near the surface as it goes from the extremely frigid lunar night to the very hot lunar daytime. A fourth type of moonquake originates at the moderately shallow depths of 20 to 30 kilometers, can register up to a startling 5.5 on the Richter scale, and can last for over 10 minutes. The causes of this fourth type of moonquake are still being investigated. The Moon and Earth distance. An animated diagram of the Moon's distance from the Earth for 2022. The sizes and distances are true to scale, and the lighting and Earth tilt are correct. Earth and Moon size comparison. Moon orbiting Earth. A simple visualization of Moon orbiting Earth. A view of Moon orbiting Earth from a point above the North Ecliptic Pole. Moon and Earth are 5 times larger than their true scale. The camera orientation is fixed in space, relative to the distant stars, so the stars do not move, but we see the changing direction of the Sun based on the lit hemisphere of Earth and Moon. The Moon's rotation. An enduring myth about the Moon is that it doesn't rotate. While it's true that the Moon keeps the same face to us, this only happens because the Moon rotates at the same rate as its orbital motion, a special case of tidal locking called synchronous rotation. The animation shows both the orbit and the rotation of the Moon. The yellow circle with the arrow and radial line have been added to make the rotation more apparent. The arrow indicates the direction of rotation. The radial line points to the center of the visible disk of the Moon at 0 degrees north, 0 degrees east. Perigee and Apogee. The point in the orbit of the Moon or a satellite at which it is nearest to the Earth is called its perigee, while the farthest is its apogee. This varies throughout the year. Perigee moon is a term used to describe the point in the Moon's orbit when it comes closest to Earth, while when it is farthest is called apogee moon. Perigee moon appears 14% bigger and 30% brighter than the apogee moon. The illustration below, based on Galileo spacecraft images, shows the approximate difference in apparent size between a full moon at perigee, the closest point in the lunar orbit, pictured at left, and a full moon at apogee, the farthest point in the lunar orbit. The sides of the Moon. The near and far side of Earth's moon as seen using data from cameras aboard NASA's robotic Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter spacecraft. The Moon's near side. The face of the Moon turned toward us is termed the near side. It is divided into light areas called the lunar highlands and darker areas called Maria, literally, seas. The singular is Marie. The Maria are lower in altitude than the highlands, but there is no visible water on the moon, so they are not literally seas. Recent evidence from the Clementine spacecraft suggests that there may be some water on the moon, contrary to previous assumptions. The dark material filling the Maria is actually dark, solidified lava from earlier periods of lunar volcanism. The moon's far side. The side of the moon unseen from the Earth is called the far side. One of the discoveries of the first lunar orbiters is that the far side has a very different appearance than the near side. In particular, there are almost no Maria on the far side. Far side view. A view from the moon's far side, using a short focal length that makes the distant Earth look small. The camera is fixed to the moon's surface. A virtual telescopic view of the moon from its far side, with the Earth looming in the background. The camera is fixed to the Earth-Moon line. Phases and libration. The phase and libration of the moon at hourly intervals. Libration means a real or apparent oscillatory motion, especially of the moon. The moon endless dance. As the moon and the Earth orbit the sun together, the pattern of day and night on the lunar surface constantly changes. We refer the percentage of illumination on the visible surface of the moon as the moon's phase. There are 8 major named phases that have been known throughout human history. 1. New moon. 2. Waxing crescent. 3. First quarter. 4. Waxing gibbous. 5. Full moon. 6. Waning gibbous. 7. Third or last quarter. 8. Waning crescent. Phases of the moon. We always see the same side of the moon, because as the moon revolves around the Earth, the moon rotates so that the same side is always facing the Earth. But the moon still looks a little different every night. Sometimes the entire face glows brightly. Sometimes we can only see a thin crescent. Other times the moon seems to disappear entirely. As the bright parts of the moon appear to change shape during the month, each stage of the change is called a phase, and each phase carries its own name. This chart shows why this happens. The center ring shows the moon as it revolves around the Earth, as seen from above the North Pole. Sunlight illuminates half the Earth and half the moon at all times. But as the moon orbits around the Earth, at some points in its orbit the sunlit part of the moon can be seen from the Earth, and at other points, we can only see the parts of the moon that are in shadow. The outer ring shows what we see on the Earth during each corresponding part of the moon's orbit. New moon. Waxing crescent. First quarter. Waxing gibbous. Full moon. Waning gibbous. Third or last quarter. Waning crescent.